Wrestling action returned to the new Milton Memorial Centre on Monday night, as Wrestle hosted its second Dorset-based show of the month. 5 matches were scheduled to take place throughout the evening's sport entertainment, including tag team and women's wrestling, all hosted by a certain Mr. James Daniels.
Welcome to Wrestle.
Up first in the night's opening contest, the monster powerhouse Crusher Curtis was simply more interested in securing the first win, not the support of the crowd.
Worst audience I've ever worked in front of.
His opponent in match 1 was the ever-popular Wrestle stalwart, Ollie Peace. Peace would get points for heart early on, but the noticeable size difference between the two, he was never going to be able to overpower Crusher. But with a noisy crowd on his side, Peace was soon dishing out more of the athletic moves, going for speed instead of power. Unfortunately for Ollie, his opponent had plenty of that. And once Crusher got his hands on the rainbow-coloured wrestler, it was starting to become a rather painful match for Peace. However, Peace was able to ride through all the punishing slams from Crusher, and would ultimately pick up the first win of the show. Curtis took a little too long taunting the crowd, who gave back as much as they got, thus giving Ollie enough time to narrowly avoid being turned into a pancake. Moments later, and Peace managed to roll up the bigger wrestler and steal the victory. Crusher wasn't happy.
I hate you. You can't count.
But Peace definitely was. Somewhere amongst the grimace, anyway. Match 2 featured tag team action as the Knuckle Lockers' Fantastic Dave Francisco and the O.J.M.O. went head-to-head with the talented young team of Curtis Chapman and Jaden Williams. Chapman started well for his team, keeping Francisco tied up for the initial goings. But the Fantastic One was in no mood to play similar games with Williams. But with the O.J.M.O. very much a member of the audience so far, Francisco was back on the receiving end of some double teamwork. A springboard moonsault out of the ring from Williams was one of the particular highlights for his team. But it wasn't long before the Knuckle Lockers had swung the match back in their favour, with Chapman now taking a bit of a beating. And with both the O.J.M.O. and Francisco cheating behind the official's back, referee Connor Stanley was unwittingly aiding in Chapman's beating. Despite this, Chapman kept his team's chances alive long enough to tag in the fresher Williams. And Williams very nearly got the win, only for Francisco to kick out at the last possible moment. But with both Chapman and the referee distracted by Francisco outside of the ring, the O.J.M.O. would use a weapon and cheat to win. He then reapplied his finishing submission on the barely conscious Williams, and the referee had no choice but to award the Knuckle Lockers a KO victory. The audience wasn't happy about that particular result, but there was a good chance they would be cheered up by the next match. In match 3, one of the South Coast's brightest stars, Josh Bodum, made his return to the Memorial Centre to take on the experienced Darren Allen before the interval. Both the Bad Bro and the Dazzler were more than a match for each other from the off, with Bodum soon sending Allen into retreat outside the ring.
Come at me, bro.
Bodum was soon on his tail, and the hard-hitting action was quickly escalating. Back in the ring, and it was the Dazzler enjoying the better momentum, with Bodum having to kick out of pins on a couple of occasions. But there was a lot going on in this enthralling match, with plenty of highlights. Ultimately, poor Stanley would take a super kick to the jaw and was left in a crumpled heap in the corner. And Bodum's potentially match-winning cover on the Dazzler proved to be in vain, as Stanley failed to recover in time. Further interference from the knuckle lockers left Bodum down and out for the count. And a recovered Stanley countered the pin to secure the win for Alan. Before the timely arrival of Chapman and Williams saw off the trio and saved Bodum from a potentially longer beatdown. A brief takeover from Daniels on the microphone got things back under control, and a 6-man elimination tag match was booked for the main event. After the break, it was the turn of the girls. Portuguese wrestler Talia Bradstone was first out for match 4. She was set to go head-to-head with Bobby Tyler. Bradstone would cut Tyler's entrance short, jumping the fan favourite from behind in a move that ultimately backfired. Tyler was quickly able to counter, and it was in fact Bradstone who started the match in a mess on the floor. Bradstone quickly managed to regroup and turn the tide back around in her favour. Now it was Tyler who was on the back foot, but Bradstone was unable to put the match to bed when she had the chance. Tyler was taking the majority of the punishment here, but Talia was left screaming in frustration as Bobby kicked out yet again. Tyler was able to rally late on, and she would ultimately come away as the winner. A kick to Bradstone's head securing the 1-2-3.
Here is your winner, Bobby Tyler!
Even with Tyler winning in rapid time, the main event was unlikely to be finished up so quickly, as the Knuckle Lockers, Allen, Bodum, Chapman and Williams all returned to the ring for their elimination match. However, we were left wondering when the O.J.M.O. talked himself into a rapid elimination.
The O.J.M.O. has been eliminated.
Obviously keen to avoid any further losses, Francisco and the Dazzler quickly went about trying to steady the ship, with a trio of double suplexes on their opponents. But Bodum obviously hadn't read that particular script and left both men down for the count. Again, there was plenty going on here, so we'll keep it to the key moments. Williams' involvement in the match came to an abrupt end when he accidentally wiped out both of his teammates, leaving him wide open for a roll-up pin from Allen. Chapman got very close to a second elimination for his team, only with a clear accident from Francisco distracting the referee as Allen tapped out to the crossface submission hold. So with Bodum arguing with the ref and Chapman confused, Allen and Francisco worked quickly to eliminate the latter.
You get him. I'm on! Oh, you heard the tag.
Curtis Chapman has been eliminated.
Bodum was left to fend for himself, but in the space of 27 seconds, the match was all said and done.
David Francisco has been eliminated.
And with Bodum's team victorious, it was now time to Finch. Finch? Finch? Okay, whatever. Finish the show. WrestleForce's next show takes place on Saturday night, just down the road in Muddyford. Full details are available at www.wrestleforce.com.